Rick, we're standing here overlooking the Arabian Sea in southwestern Oman, and we're standing in a pretty special place. Tell us what you think this is.
Well, we think that this is an excellent candidate for an ancient synagogue or sanctuary where weekly worship services could have been conducted in the land of Bountiful by Nephi and his people when they were here. And the reason we think that this might be a sanctuary complex is because it satisfies some very important criteria. It has the architecture of the sanctuary associated with Solomon's temple, even to the 1-to-2 association and layout. It has the east-west association associated with Solomon or Moses' tabernacle, and it also has this the basic measurement system that was used in Solomon's temple is found here, the same cubit system on the layout exactly. And finally, one of the most important aspects satisfying this as a very sacred and a holy place to the ancient Hebrews and to Lehi and Nephi is this black strip that's been caused by lichen, heavy lichen growth for millennia. We have water issuing from the top. It runs down this area. Over here where there's no black, it doesn't run down. But here it's in the black strip. It runs down here. It causes lichen. And as a result, it's a great association with that wonderful passage in the Old Testament in which Moses strikes the rock of Horeb and water issues out. And what better way for the ancient people of Lehi and Nephi to come 8 years out of the wilderness and come to a place in which the Lord sanctifies it by showing them that they aren't forgotten, that they are on their way to the promised land, and we have here also a rock in which water issues from the face, defiant of all logic.
Rick, you told us about sacred measurements and proportions, and that's very exciting. Tell us more about that.
Well, it's all based on the revelations that were given to both Moses and Solomon concerning those two wonderful ceremonial structures that were created, the tabernacle in the wilderness and the first temple in Jerusalem. And both of those were built with certain proportions, 1-to-1, 1-to-2. The Holy of Holies is a 1-to-1-to-1. The sanctuary leading into the Holy of Holies was a 1-to-2-to-1. And all of these wonderful proportions and associations can be found here in this basic layout.
So you're saying that right here on this hilltop overlooking the Arabian Sea, we're seeing those same proportions. You can measure this out and find that 1-to-2 relationship and the various cubit measurements in proportion here.
Yes, that's correct.
So I don't see in the record of the Book of Mormon them mentioning that they built a sanctuary at the land of Bountiful, but do we see a pattern in the Book of Mormon of their worship and of their understanding of holy places?
Of course we do. We see them building altars and sacrificing after the boys come back with the plates of Laban, and probably after Ishmael comes and the daughters are there. And so that pattern exists, and also we know that Lehi and Nephi were wonderful prophets. They had access to the Lord, direction from the Lord on a daily basis and what they needed. And when they arrive in the New World, in the land of Nephi, Nephi himself puts together a temple complex that we can be assured is going to be on the same proportions, the same layout as Solomon's temple. That's the pattern they're showing, and we see that at other sacred temple sites. The other two we have in Guatemala, Mexico. So, of course, they're going to have a place where they could offer their sacrifices here, and that they could have their daily or their weekly worship service or their holy day.